Biggest one you got. Tea, you said? Is that full of tea?
It's full of tea.
Like
Yeah.
like is it like chai tea or is it like
Chai.
caffeine tea? You're up all
It
night.
is. It's a chai tea, so it is decaffeinated.
Okay.
Um, anyway, I can drink tea, like not tea. I'm sorry, coffee right now and still go to bed. So tea does not do a thing to me, caffeinated or otherwise. But I do
I
like a chai tea.
Chai tea's good. Yeah. I can do coffee I think up until about like 7 o'clock. After that I'm screwed. I'm staying up way too late.
That's what I did last night. I was up till midnight working on this crap, right?
Hmm.
And then I came upstairs and I was out, right? And and then next thing I know, it's the morning, and Amy's going, "Were you supposed to be up by now?" I look over, it's like
Oh.
7:40. I'm supposed to be leaving at that time.
No shower for
Like,
Neil that day.
oh, little Old Spice, baby, and then we're out.
Yep, yep. At least she woke you up.
Oh my god, it was a close one.
I've been there. I've done that. But yeah, I got a little rum and coke. It's hard to tell, but it's my U.S. Open 2022 little glass they gave at the events.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. It's nice. It's it's real sugar soda, I guess. I don't know.
Interesting.
It.
I,
I mean, it's still soda, but this is the only way
oh,
I'll consume soda is if I'm having it with a mixed beverage, because otherwise it's just
not
awful.
high fructose corn syrup. Is that what the deal is? It's just
Yeah, yeah,
regular.
I try to avoid that shit. Um, just give me real ingredients of real
Mm-hmm.
origin, like
Mm-hmm.
like the boomer that I am.
Nothing but what comes out of your garden.
Almost, I just tilled the garden too.
Did you?
Like I'm planting winter wheat.
Winter wheat, huh?
Yeah,
When does that come up?
you plant it. Tomorrow's gonna be the perfect day to plant it because it's gonna be cooler and it'll rain, so I don't have to water it. But it kind of
Nice.
comes up a little bit and flowers and just kind of stays stagnant like
Mm-hmm.
all through winter, and then spring hits and it just poof, pops up, and then there's all this wheat. Apparently,
Nice.
I've never done it before, so
That's awesome.
why not? I mean, it's 200 feet of garden doing nothing all winter. Might as well pretend like it's doing something.
Imagine 10 acres of garden.
If
Cheers.
I had $100,000, yep. But yeah, that was a good preamble. It's a good preamble to
Mm-hmm.
episode 71 of the Strength Hammer podcast. Boom. I
uh,
knew you were thinking like, did he hit record?
I knew it was. I knew it was on.
You're like, he's gonna hit soon. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here we are, episode 71. We gonna approach 75 soon, which is not a big number, but it's then we're 25 away from our big 100. Which
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I might just invite Henry Cavill on at that point once we reach 100 episodes.
Might as well, right?
What's worse you can say? No or not respond?
Yeah.
Fuck it. We're getting
Right.
we're getting Henry Cavill. I'm gonna get Taylor Swift. I'm gonna invite everybody.
Right. Right. Might as well.
Yeah, who cares?
Mhm.
I'd be more afraid if one of them said yeah.
I
I'm
know,
like,
right?
shit.
Yeah, sounds cool. What?
Okay, hey, let's do this. Neil needs you to be
Mm-hmm.
real cool about everything real quick.
You imagine Taylor Swift saying yes to be on some shitty podcast.
Well, hey, we got the
Got
picture
nothing
of
better to do.
we got the picture of her up right now, in a football stadium, singing and
Oh god.
performing, not what the.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, so sure, like, and it's fine. She's, yeah, I don't care. Like, it's her personal life. Date whoever you want, have fun. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've had people message me. He's like, "Hey, can you have your girl and her new boyfriend tone it down a little bit because they're fucking everywhere." And
Yeah.
I it's like I my social media is three things because of the algorithm. It's
Mm-hmm.
Warhammer, it's fitness, and it's Taylor Swift. That's all I see. That's all my posts. That like it's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Hey, do you want to see this?" I'm like, "Yep, like, cool, cool, we're good to go."
Yeah.
I saw an uptick on how much Taylor Swift stuff I saw because she went to a football game. I'm just like,
Yes.
hey, people having fun, doing their thing, living their life. That's all. God bless. But I was like, whoo, I imagine everybody who's not a Taylor Swift fan was pissed off.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And I don't mind Taylor Swift, but yeah, I mean, just let it go, guys.
Yeah.
Like, it got to a point where you got some NFL announcers trying to like break it down,
Yeah.
right? And
Well, I mean, kudos to I guess her new boyfriend. I mean, whatever.
yeah,
He's like, hey, everybody needs to calm down on the NFL side. It's a little
right,
ridiculous, especially
yeah,
too. I think the best was, it's like it was like a tweet. It says, I swear to God, if another announcer says Taylor Swift's at the New York Jets game and doesn't acknowledge that she's standing right next to Ryan fucking Reynolds, I'm gonna murder somebody. Like, there you go.
some guy like he was doing some meme of it, right? And he was like the Monday Night Football game or whatever, and he was scoring the game based on how many times they cut to either Aaron Rodgers or Taylor Swift. So every time
Oh yeah,
They cut to Aaron Rodgers, you got a tick, and then like by the end of the game, like she had three more on him, and he's like commentating. It's just like, oh, Aaron's got a lot of work to do to catch up in this game. You know, we'll see if he can pull
that's
it out.
that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny actually. That's a clever way to do it. Yeah, that's the two things there. But anyway,
Anyway, what's this podcast about? What are we doing here?
oh, Warhammer.
That's right.
Um, but first we gotta talk about our fitness.
Huh?
I'll go first. I'll lead into this time because, like, Neil, you're kind of leading this episode a little bit. I feel so. I'll take the start of this stuff. So, fitness wise, much more the same. Continuing like my bodybuilding program, I'm mixing in a few more barbell movements because I'm getting to the end of the program. Gonna be getting back into. Oops, excuse me, drank that a little too fast. A little bit of uh, powerlifting again. Pushing for a 500-pound deadlift. Uh, by maybe March of next year with the program that I'm gonna be jumping onto. So just having fun, not really like killing myself, but having fun. Some days I'm just like, fuck it, let's go heavy, let's have fun. Other days I'll walk in the gym, like, let's just move weight, So it's been a fun, relaxing part of my day when I do it the 3 to 4 days a week.
I want to come up to Tay Rathy and I want to see you working out in a barn like Rocky Four. All right, just lifting carts and shit, just getting ready for that, just in training for that day where you're gonna max.
So here's the fun part. It's a barn, so we could do this. Do you know
Mhm.
what's harder than lifting? Like, what's harder than deadlifting or bench pressing or squatting? You know what's actually harder than doing any of that actual working out?
Hmm.
Moving the fucking weights to the point to work out. That's
Oh
harder
yeah,
than
yeah.
actually working out. So I'm not
That is,
doing that because the weights are at my home, not at that
mhm.
barn. So no, I'm not be doing that. Because
That is true. That is true.
I don't know why that sucks more, but no, fitness is going good. Starting to cut back on the. I say it as I'm drinking a rum and coke, but cutting back on the sugar, so doing good on that. I actually am mixing in more cardio. I've been finding cardio kind of fun lately, just like
Hmm.
a little bit of running, just here and there. Like, so my wife comes with me to the gym and she does rowing and then running, so I'll do my workout and I'll usually end with like a half mile to a mile run, just as
Yeah.
she's wrapping up too. So I don't know, but it's been fun just to do some more
That,
cardio lately. But that's my
that row
fitness.
machine, machine's a bitch, man.
Oh, I love it. See, okay, all right. I mean, you did CrossFit for a little bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
I know all about the row machine.
Well, okay. Running sucks, but
Cheers.
it's what you have to do.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then the rowing machine isn't fun until you realize there's an assault bike. Then all of a sudden,
Oh, that
running and
yeah. Well,
rowing are
I've done
absolutely
this.
the best thing in the world. You get, yeah,
I've done this all bike too.
I,
That's a bitch and a half. Oh my
yeah,
god.
oh boy, but yeah, fitness is going well. Um, Especially too, like cutting back on the sweets before there's about to be a bunch of fucking Halloween candy in my house is a good
Mm.
idea.
Yeah.
because I don't want that temptation. Because
Well,
it's like because we get 300 to 400 kids at my house. Like every year, it's just more and more. Because like we actually our town actually properly has Halloween on Halloween.
yep.
Not
Ours
some
does too.
some fucking
Yeah.
Nancy ass. We'll do it
Yeah.
Saturday before and after. Go
Yeah.
fuck yourself.
Well,
It's Halloween.
these communists,
Yeah.
these communists out here
Hmm.
doing it on the 30th.
I'll just keep blaming the CDC for everything. How about that? Um, no, but what that means is all the stupid towns around us that do it the Saturday or Sunday before or whatever. Those kids will also come out here on the 31st, which it's fine. I don't care. I'm not gonna turn them away, but that means I have lots of candy, which means I'm gonna
Yeah.
have pounds of candy at my house that I
Wow.
need to not eat.
Yeah. See, my kids will go out, they get it all, and right. And I look at this hoard of candy they got, and I'm like, well, that's not healthy for them. They shouldn't eat all that. Right. And
I
I
mean,
just
you're
go,
already 1 foot in the grave. You might as well,
I mean, I'm almost dead. It's fine. I'm checking out of Hotel Earth early, Chuck. Okay, that's the plan. All right. I already called him. I said I want an early checkout. I want bacon.
right?
I want Reese's cups. All right, and I want an early checkout.
I won't say I won't have any of that candy, but I'm saying is I don't need to be eating it all day long.
Hmm.
If I'm just like, you know what, I had a good day. I'm gonna have a Reese's for dessert. I won't feel bad doing that, but I'm not gonna have a Reese's every 5 minutes.
Yeah. Hmm.
Anyway, your fitness, Neil. How's it been going?
So been running around with my kids again, still playing soccer and
Awesome.
everything, having a good time. Tonight, so Caitlin, my daughter, she has had some knee issues, and so we got her in a brace. She's in some PT. The PT saw her today, actually in the house today, um, and we were talking a little bit. And as you guys know, I'm a physical therapist as well, but this PT we're bringing in is more of a just a specific, ortho
Is
PT.
that
She
actually?
deals with stuff a little bit more than me, especially pediatrics.
I would say
So
yeah. That's where my question comes in. Like, is there a specialty for kids versus adults? Or I mean, I imagine there's a
yeah,
gray line
yeah,
because
no,
like at
yeah.
some point it's still the same. It's just smaller. But like with growing and stuff, I imagine there's.
Right, right, right. So there's not too much difference other than what my daughter has, which is called patellar slip. Is something that's kind of more common to kids, especially girls of her age. So it's not unheard of that she has this, but got her in a little brace, and so we went out tonight and we were messing around with the ball and we were kind of testing the knee out because she's got tournaments this weekend. And
Mhm.
so it started raining and she didn't want to leave. She wanted to play in the rain. So
Ugh,
so we're kicking the ball back and forth. I mean, it's a torrential downpour and we're just having a ball out there. So core memory achieved.
there you go.
Getting out there, being active. So a lot of fun just kind of doing that. Did I get any skinnier? No. But we're out there, we're moving around, we're having some fun. So
Getting the
that's good
old
enough
ticker
for me.
moving.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's good. That's good. That's awesome. But yeah, I'll say that time for some hobby.
Hmm.
Boy, take as usual, Neil. I can't help myself. I need to get my fucking list up here.
You
Holy
certainly
shit!
can.
I
Yep.
exist and hobby happens. It's such my natural state that like I don't know.
It's your zen, man. It's your happy place.
It is, but eventually I'm glad I got a discount.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be so fucked. All right,
Yeah.
so I painted an armor sentinel for my 40k Catachan army.
Mhm.
That way, my little Catachan army that I created after the grand narrative last year is up 500 points, which is Crusade, which is Path to Glory.
Okay.
I plan to grow it this year or into next year at some point because my character is actually making a triumphant return from the prior campaign into this one, which is actually kind of rare. Like it's just a
Yeah.
standard human, so it's gonna be. I'm waiting to see how it's gonna play out. They just told me that, so
Yeah.
whatever happens, whether it's legal in the stupid rules of 10th edition or not, I'm going to be like, boom, I'm gonna add into this army. If it's like, hey, you're actually a Knight Titan pilot. Cool, I'll be a Night Titan pilot. If it's I don't know what it's gonna be, so we'll wait and see.
Hmm.
But I'll eventually get my army up to 1,000 points with 500 of Catachan, 500 of whatever else it is I'm supposed to be, as it's gonna play out. I also completed my Dark Elf army, and by complete I mean I can field every unit in the 8th edition army book as a minimum unit. So if it's like 5+ minimum, I can field everything. So by doing that, I needed a Cold One Chariot, got that. Bloodwreck Shrine, got that. and a Scourge Runner Chariot. Now I have that. So that was good. Played some Ancients. Got Reign of the Brute. I read that book. That was fun. I enjoyed that. Painted some Dark Angels, the Flyer and the Land Speeder, specific Dark Angel ones. That was exciting. Got a Sylvaneth Vanguard box to flesh out my Wood Elf army because I needed to complete that army. Neil was going to 3D print me some stuff. Now, I don't know. Like things happen. Things happen, and I get bored and impatient. But I needed a Branch Witch or Branch Wraith, whatever it's called. So I used the Branch Witch from Sylvaneth, put it on a square base. Boom, there's that. I needed Warhawk Riders, and I realized, Neil, I had one. I thought he was a just like some Glade Lord on an eagle. He's not. He was too small, and I looked at the model, so I had one Warhawk Rider.
Nice.
So what it is, I took 2 extra Wood Elf models I had, and I used Drukhari, like the feathered wings on them, and made it look like they were turning into the eagles. I was like, that's fine. No one's going to complain. It's Kit Bash. It's all GW. So I have a unit of Warhawk Riders that I painted up. Some Deepwood Scouts, which is like another unit they didn't really have models for, so I just kind of found some different metal ones from Marauder, I think. Have some Treekin, which is like Kurnothi put on square bases, and a Tree Lord. And with that, I completed my Wood Elf army in the same way I completed my Dark Elf army.
That's awesome.
I have also recently played my first game of Horus Heresy. I have to say, it's super fun. Like, hold on, before we, like, Horus Heresy, like, I bought that box when it first came out, because like, that was such a good deal. Bought a Primarch, bought a few other things, but like, I'd say maybe I was like $300 to $400, and I have a 2,600 point army that painted up fun. I enjoyed it, and I never got to play because no one around here else had it ready, or just didn't have it. Finally, someone in my area had it, a club member named Luke, and he's played a few times, and we played my first game last night. It's kind of slimmed back the rules a little bit. There's a lot of rules, as you'd expect from an older edition of a rules set based off an older rule set, but it was super fun because I felt like Space Marines. It's how they should feel. Like, things just weren't dying left and right, like swaths of stuff. Like, it was hard to kill a Space Marine, and I really enjoyed the game because at the end, we both still had over half our army on the board, which made it tactically interesting in the last rounds.
Nice, love that.
Yeah, so I'm excited to play more of that in the future. What else? What else? What else? Oh, and I had in that Vanguard box, I also had 5 of the teleporty Sylvaneth. What are they called? Way something.
Tree Remnants.
Tree Revenants. Yes, they have way pipes. That's all I can do it. So yeah, so painted those up today. Actually finished those. I also have a second Vanguard box of Sylvaneth now coming because I want to add to my Sylvaneth actually. Because I had such fun painting the trees, I want to add more trees. And I bought the Space Marine Codex, and I needed enough to get free shipping. I was like, sure, throw that on. But thankfully, that's going to be a couple weeks away. So over here, you can't see it. I'm motioning to my left for people in audio only. The Cities of Sigmar box is back out because I think it's going to be... I know GW is having issues right now with shipping. I don't know what's causing it. I don't care to speculate. I don't care. Stuff comes out whenever they get it out. But I decided I'm not going to wait for the full release. I'm just going to start building this army now. It is what it is. So that's back out. I'll be doing more stuff with Cities of Sigmar in the near future.
Nice.
And
you got a decision to make come January. Well, you're going to do the Sylvaneth? You're going to do the cities?
It's true. It's true. Or the Iron Jaws, because that's my usual Path to Glory army. I don't know. I'm so confused. We'll get into that when we get to your stuff. But yeah, that's my hobby. Having fun and just kind of moving through. Oh, I also still have over here on my left an almost entire Napoleonics army.
That's oh god.
I don't know when I'm starting that, but I'm still waiting for one more unit to come in. It is so much pewter. It's so old school.
That is crazy that that's just a little bag. It's an entire army. That's so funny.
No, that's not a whole. That's just all the cavalry. There's more to it. But still, you think of a Warhammer. I'm trying to think. All right, say this was the size of a Warhammer army. Like you just laid out everything on a table. This is what the size it is.
Yeah.
The size of the Napoleonics army is this.
Yeah.
Just for reference. Like it is taking up no space. Like I feel like I could put it all in my pocket if I really wanted to.
I mean,
Yes.
at Pewter, you probably could and get away with it.
Probably, yeah. Oh, one more fun thing happened. Me and Alex are going to Canada.
That's right. That's right.
My friend Val is hosting the Square Base GT up at the Mini Wargaming Bunker in Canada, which is only 4.5 hours from me.
Mm-hmm.
Probably about the same for you. It might be only 4 for you. It's probably a half hour less at least because you're north more.
Maybe.
Okay, a little bit less. But yeah, what's weird is like there's gonna be the 8th edition comp that there was and that sort of stuff. So this is like actually my first true 8th edition tournament. Like everyone I've been to have been like local club days or the one I ran last year at the Teriyaki Classic, which was just bring your shit, have fun, who cares? I'm not I'm not a comp type person, but like I see why it existed in that game. Yeah, but this is gonna be the first one where it's like it's 2023, and I'll be going to my first Warhammer 8th edition fantasy tournament.
So let me ask you this: Are you going there to slap? Huh?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go there slap.
I love it.
So I mean, you know my thoughts on Sigmar, like as far as like I'm not hyper competitive anymore. I like to win, but I'm not pushing, I'm not competing, but
yeah,
I still have like even locally I pull out my high elves. The reason I have other 8th edition armies, the reason why I have dwarves and wood elves, dark elves, is because I reached a point with my high elves that I could not turn off pushing as much shit into people's faces as possible. I could not, no matter how hard I tried. No matter how hard I tried. And I'm happy to say that it's still there.
Nice.
Like I pull out my high elves and I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. It's an easy list. It'll be a good game. It's fine. You're probably gonna beat me.
Yeah.
And then like hour and 10 minutes later, kicking some shit. All right. Didn't realize it. Okay, let's go.
I love that. So how many games is it? Is it one day?
It's a 2 days, 5-round tournament.
Okay. So what is your goal? Win loss?
Honestly, I want to push for 4-1. Oof. I don't want to even go 3-2. I want to go for 4-1.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
get him, Ray.
I'm going hard for it. It's just like I'll be so like I look forward to some people I know. Say I go there and I just crush and dominate. Like not even just do really well. I'm waiting for people to be like, Chuck, why can't you do that in Sigmar? That's gonna be the first thing out of people's mouths that I know, and I'll be like, I don't know why I can't do it in this game.
Yeah, good question.
But I'm excited. Get to hang out with Dave from Mini Wargaming. Got to meet him. Well, not meet him, but I know him through social media a little bit, so get to meet him hopefully face to face. All this fun stuff. So sorry, that's my huge hobby. I know it's been 2 weeks. I just if you are a avid listener of other people's Warhammer content, I probably just rattled off about like 3 months worth of shit for some people. Oh, also, I'm not sure. Did I mention I did the 750 Marines built and primed? I had that done before last one, didn't I?
You did.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. I was like, whew, okay.
Didn't you get another 750 or no?
No. They couldn't. They screwed it up. So whatever. It's fine.
All right.
Okay. Oh, also I'm starting to build with my local group the giant 40K grand narrative table for one of the rooms. It's like 8 tables. Yeah. So
do that for Sigmar, please. Come on.
Oh God, I hope I would love that. Yes. There we go. There is more hobby than most actual Warhammer podcasters and YouTubers will ever do in a whole fucking year. I'm calling them all out right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what I mean. I don't know what I get. I don't know what I get for this, but I'm calling them all out. They can't do a third of what I do on a
You've already got the Warhammer Hero Medal. Now you're just shining it up. That's all you're doing. You're buffing it. You're buffing it.
Can't rest on my laurels. Like, actually, hold on. So I had goals set. I don't do resolutions, but I do set like goals for myself for the year. I had 2 goals going into this year. One,
paint less models.
one was to go to more Warhammer events than the prior year. Which
Uh-huh.
since I went to one that year, I'm going to like 4 or 5 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Success, great success. And yeah, paint less models. So in 2022, I painted 1,058 models. Let's just say I've broken that record already. I know I have. I don't even have to count on all of it. So I'm gonna shine it up, Neil. We're gonna get really shiny. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, Neil, your hobby. Go ahead. Top
My
that.
hobby.
Yeah, top that. Top
Actually,
that.
I've
Actually, no,
been,
you are top.
I've been,
You're gonna keep up with me on this one. This is gonna be fun.
well, I'm not going to keep up with you even close. However,
No, but
amount of hours
your
that I
ambition
put
is what's
in,
gonna outweigh it.
the amount of hours that I put in is significant. So I've been probably putting in, maybe not nightly, but 3 to 4 hours about every other night.
That's great.
Last couple of weeks, maybe not every other night, close to it. And what I'm looking at over here, I'm gonna move my camera and like try and give people epilepsy real quick
Nice.
here.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if you can see that table there. Yeah, yeah, there we go.
There you go. Yep, I can
That
see
is
it.
a table full of hexes. So I have printed that table that it's on is I think we're doing okay here with the camera. The table that it's on is how full it's going to be.
Right.
That's so you saw that black underneath there that will all hopefully be covered up at some point. So we are, as far as hexes printed, I want to say I'm probably about halfway there,
You might be only a third.
maybe a third. Because the thing about it is we got these really cool. They're not even hexes. It's a border that creates the map,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's like a compass hex that goes in there, north,
Oh,
south, east,
geez.
west.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
yes, it's gorgeous. It's gonna be gorgeous, when it's all done.
Wow. That's gonna be good.
Um, yeah, it's gonna look like an honest map, right? So,
I can't wait for
um,
it.
yeah, it's I'm having a blast with it. So I'm painting up those hexes, printing those hexes, and I've been making rules for the map campaign itself,
Yes, you
which,
have.
by the way, just happens to be the topic of the night is map
Yes.
campaigns and why you should do them. So,
Actually,
um,
do you just want to segue right into the topic then?
we might as well because that's
Yeah.
my hobby. So,
Yeah, it's been your hobby.
um, yeah, so map campaigns. In my opinion, map campaigns are the penultimate expression of a narrative wargamer's hobby.
So when I think
As far as
right, when I think of it, obviously you think all the way back to Mighty Empires, which
hmm
is the original name for it. There was a 40K variant. I can't remember the name of it.
hmm
Um, I do know Steve Herner from Holy Wars, Holy Havoc. He has a hex map, but it's not as much of a hex campaign. But it's still cool. It's
hmm
still cool to see it. It's just a cool thing to
Oh,
see.
yeah, yeah, yeah. When this
So
is done, yeah.
I have never, and I even have like over on my wall hanging up is a nice. I got it from a friend. I have the Mighty Empires. It's all painted up. It's nice there. I got a little baggie full of all the tokens and stuff.
hmm
And it's just like I don't know what to do though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's such a cool concept as someone
Right.
who's never done it before. I've never done it
hmm
before. Like I have it, but like I've never done it. It's such a cool concept to think about and plan, but then it's just
Right.
like that's where like my paralysis comes in. Like I can stare at 4 armies at the same time and paint them up no problem, but I can stare at this little single like 8 hexes on a map and I'm like I don't know what to do with my life.
Yeah.
So I'm glad
It's
that
like
you're here to lead this charge because it's needed.
for me, it's just like what's cooler? Maybe not cooler, but as cool as having your own Warhammer painted army is having your own empire and then having your army march across it.
Hmm. And
Like
defeat
that,
your enemies.
that's what I like. That's what like because when I play a narrative game, like I try to put myself sometimes. Okay, here's where we are. I kind of want to imagine it, which is why I want to play
Yes.
on a table that has cool terrain that is just like very visually appealing, so that I can immerse myself into the game that I'm playing. What a map campaign does for you, though, is it not even just on a like if you had a piece of paper or just a map printed out, that's like a step. But now you have a 3D version of this world, and as you move and you start fighting in hex to hex, right? Then you can start thinking about okay, well, I'm in a marsh tile, right? So how do I represent that? And so
Right.
you build some terrain, you play the battle, right? And now you're starting to accumulate different types of terrain so that you can do different types of things. Not just now for the campaign, but like stuff that you have forever. And so you can start piecing together worlds. You can start building world. It's world building is
Right.
exactly what it is.
Now,
And
here's the exciting part for me when I look at a map campaign like that is seeing the place where my army is at. Like, yeah, I love that I can like figure out, like I can imagine it, see it. They're in this type of terrain, but just seeing those
yeah,
hexes and going like to the point of what it is like I own that.
right,
That's mine. Like
right.
come get it, bitches. It's such a fun thing to have.
Yeah. And it's like if you want to start like a narrative for your army, for your character, right? You've got a space on a map, right? And so as you're writing the narrative for your army, you have a map to visualize it, to see it, to watch your narrative grow,
Hmm.
to base your narrative off through your wins, through your losses, through all different types of stuff. So that's the reason why I'm doing it. So for those of you who have been listening to me for a long time, um, and know about bars, which is Battle Across the Realms that we've been doing, which has been a 2-day narrative event where you get a hero and you're playing Triumph and Treachery and things like that. That was my attempt at trying to get this feel in 2 days.
Right.
And so we're going to be running this campaign, and you can run your campaigns at any length, just because we're going to do it for a year. So, and
Well,
every month is a turn,
and
essentially.
it's fun because we're so spread out. Because like Neil, you're over in Ohio, I'm in Pennsylvania. We're 3.5 hours away distance,
Right.
but we're both
So what?
participating in this. So but it's kind of fun. So like that's why it's exciting to go
Yeah.
for a year because there will be a month or two or more where one of us comes out to the other place to play our games.
Right. And so when I first started doing this, that's what I started to think. Like, I started talking amongst my own group. Oh, let's do this map campaign because I couldn't figure out like how do I which is just one map. And I can't ask people in Pennsylvania to come over here on a month-to-month basis and play these games. It'd be nice if I could, but that's not going to happen.
All right, because like
And
we all have lives. We have other clubs we have to run. Neil,
right,
you're stealing the other guy that
we
could
have
run my
lives,
club, but now I can't.
families, and it's money as well, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking to myself, how can we do this? All right, so what we're essentially doing was we're building two maps, and so one map is going to go to Pennsylvania, one map is staying here, and these maps are going to be taken as two different continents within the same world.
No.
And so when we do a games day, we can choose like if even if somebody in one month wants to go and wants to try and sail across the sea, so to speak, and go to attack the other continent, there's rules for that in my
Mm-hmm.
system.
Mm-hmm.
And there's rules to even if they can't fight the battle after they've taken some of that territory, there's rules for that as well. So it's all kind of built in here. I'm sure we'll talk about the details of that at some point.
Right.
I am going to put out
There's definitely like a spirit of the event type thing going on. Like
right.
there's gonna be stuff that you're one person making all this, and we're relying on you. But we also
Mhm.
anticipate things like, oh hey, I can really screw things up because of this interaction with rules you didn't see. So
Yep.
it's like, oh okay, let's play to the spirit of it. You bring it up, you change it. Okay, well let's just do it this way, so it makes more sense.
Right.
So
Living document is what it's going to be for
yeah,
now. I've got a whole PDF for the rules. Um, And I guess if you want to do something like this and you have your own gaming group, I would suggest, you're going to have to find some people who are committed to it. One of
right.
the hardest
Well,
things with running a campaign in
real
general.
quick before you even get to that point, give a
Yeah.
shout out. I know we all pitched in together to buy them, and you and another member, Carl, have 3D printers. So we're 3D printing these tiles. These aren't the old
Yeah.
Mighty Empires tiles. So we bought the STLs. If you want to give a
Mhm.
shout out to where you bought them from, and maybe even if you send me a link, I'll add it to the description below. Just because it is cool. They're really cool tiles, and they're worth the price.
Yeah, they are great tiles. They my mini factory is where we got them off, and they are called. I'm going to minimize this real quick because
No
I have
worries.
this pulled up. Um,
Yeah, drop a link for me too if you can, just so I can add it in.
yeah, so these are called Hexton Hills.
Okay.
So if you type in Hexton Hills to um, inside of my mini factory, these will come up. and they are very highly detailed hexes
Yeah,
and
there's even rooms
very.
for magnets and everything.
Oh yeah, they're tabbed, so if you want to print them tabbed, you can, so that they fit into one another very well. I mean, you could magnetize these bad boys very easily, um, however you wanted to go about it. We're not using the tab version so that we can kind of pick up tiles and move it around, do all sorts of crap
Yeah.
on the actual map itself. But yeah, they're out there, and I would encourage it's if you want to keep it real simple, it doesn't have to be too expensive. There's like a starter set for like $46 for the STLs. Um,
And like I
we
said,
found
if you're doing
that
this,
we
you're going in with friends, so just have everybody pitch in, and all of a sudden that cost becomes less than like a couple cups of coffee.
yeah. And what what Carl and I have done is we keep going on there and looking at finding these different cool hexes, and we're like, that's $3. We just buy it. That's that, right?
Well, I think you guys you're doing the right thing, and then you also came up and said in the chat like, hey guys, we're getting more stuff. You want to support the resin feed? Just feel free to PayPal us a few more bucks here and there as we can. And it's just like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
payday comes, everyone's gonna do that, and then you're gonna be like, oh well, dang.
yeah. I mean, nobody likes asking people for money, especially not me. But it's a joint thing that you're doing. Everybody's going to benefit from this. So if
Yeah,
people are able to chip in, and it's a gaming club anyway, right? So everybody needs to, well, doesn't need to, but if they can,
yeah,
chip in. So,
no,
but yeah, so yeah, so if you do have a gaming club, the continent idea is a great way to play the same map with another gaming club that maybe is not too far away, right?
mhm.
You got somebody else who's narrative not too far away. I could potentially even like we got some guys down in Columbus we play with a lot. So if this works out, the rules get kind of flushed out, and we want to get the guys down in Columbus for next season into it. Then you can go wherever you want
Well,
and fight battle.
even still, if you
So
if you have two clubs, like say it's the Ren 4 club and Columbus, you guys are close, and you guys could maybe meet once a month or once every 2 months. You could have battles where it's club versus club as far as controlling territory. Like
right,
on a smaller
right,
map, there's no reason why you can scale this up and down as much as you want. Now, I'm kind of
absolutely.
like you. I want to be scaled up. Like this is Chuck's hex. This is Neil's hex. This is
Hmm.
Dave's hex. Stay away from my hexes. And
Right,
like
right.
that sort of stuff. I like the huge scaled up version of that, even as
Hmm.
unwieldy as it's going to be. I mean, really, the ideal thing would be have like a computer video game that does it for us, kind of like Blood
Right,
Bowl. Like I love Blood Bowl. I never want to play it in person. I just want the computer to do my dice rolls for me.
as I write the rules for this, and it's in the back of my mind while I'm writing the rules for this is Total Warhammer 3.
Okay, yeah,
Like it's like a lot of the inspiration for some of the rules I'm writing and the way I'm setting up scenarios and stuff is like this should feel a lot like you're playing Total War Warhammer on a board game, right?
yep.
Um,
It's gonna be a little
so
slower.
yeah,
That's fine
gotta
though.
be a lot slower.
Yep.
Yeah, but well, depending on how fast your PC runs, it might be just as fast.
Well,
But
true.
so those load times are up there.
Hmm.
But yeah, so when you're talking about setting up a map campaign, you have to decide for yourself how narrative you want to be with it and how it can just be okay. I own this hex. Next turn, I'm going to attack this hex and I fight this battle. Okay.
Yeah.
But the more players you get on a map, all right, you also have to decide how many people are allowed to attack the same hex.
Yep.
How many, and if so, how many people are attacking into, like, let's say there's 6 people, right? And I own a lot of territory, and all 6 people attack me. How many games is that?
Yeah.
If you have one games day, how are you going to get 6 games in that one day?
All right.
you know, so there's a lot of things to think about as far as a map campaign.
Or even do you have multiple people? Like it becomes a 4 or 5 person game that you're playing,
Right.
and
Yeah.
they may not be all against you. They might be like, oh, I'm going to go after this guy because he's trying to move in on what I'm trying to go in on. And
Mhm.
maybe, yeah,
And
there's
so
a
how do you
lot.
make a
There's a
win
lot.
condition for something like that? How do you set up if there's multiple people on a map or multiple people attacking the same hex? How do you do that kind of free for all? How do you set up teams? How do you like these are all rules that you have to think about when you're running a map campaign, just based on the battles alone.
Hmm. Well, and
And
even
so,
past that, I mean, there's going to be diplomacy. You know that
right.
at
Oh,
some level.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there should be. Well,
Yeah.
there doesn't have to be, but I feel like there should be.
There should.
So,
I think there should be. Which that's the other thing too. Like that's why maybe I don't want to play my Iron Jaws because I feel like I wouldn't be able to do diplomacy.
right.
Orcs is the best. Orcs go fast. Like that's a very boring way to do any
Right.
sort of diplomatic thing.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Yeah. Well, see who else, see what everybody's playing and pick accordingly. You have
that's
that
true.
power.
That's true.
So, but yeah, so from there, that's probably about as basic as you can go, right? You can just, you pick, you attack, the guy wins, you move on, right?
Hmm.
What I find with that is the other thing that should be considered is how quickly do you want people to be knocked out of your map campaign?
Yes. Yeah, because you don't want to bring somebody in and within a month or two they're out and like, okay, you can't play anymore with us. Go away. Take your toys and
Right.
leave. It's
Yep.
really not fun.
So if you're playing, let's say you've chosen that your battles are all going to be GHB scenarios, right? And you've got one guy in your club who happens to never lose. And he wants to play the campaign because he wants to have fun too. And very quickly, the entire map is his.
Yeah.
Three guys have been knocked out real early,
Yep.
and now not everybody's having as much fun with it as what once was. So the other thing you have to consider is how quickly, like, where do you want your starting spots? How quickly, or how difficult should it be to knock somebody out, right? If somebody does get knocked out, what does that mean? Do they get to come back later, or are they just done?
Ooh,
um,
actually, that's an interesting idea because you could have say me, you, Matt, Cole, and Dave are all playing,
mhm,
and say I get knocked out. However, whatever X amount of time happened, I get knocked out. But I might just be out. But is there a chance for me to seek refuge amongst somebody else?
mhm,
Either my conqueror or like make a plea deal, like okay, well you conquer me, but you're in charge, or maybe I escape to some other to your say Dave conquers me. All right, cool, conquers my land. Do I make a deal with him? Do I go with, or do I try and
mhm.
escape and go with you?
Yeah.
And I fight on your behalf, rebuilding my forces, and maybe eventually I'll get big enough where I can stake a claim and pull away
Mhm.
from you and steal from you. Like that's the
Yeah.
risk
This all,
reward.
yeah.
It's a very interesting idea.
And this all becomes, so now you're basically, you're talking about vassalization, right?
Yeah,
So you become a vassal of another. Yeah. So now, like, and when I'm talking about world building, when I'm talking about
like they give you
narrative,
one of
right?
their
These are
hexes,
the
and all of a
types of
sudden,
narratives that are just almost writing themselves as
yeah.
you play through the campaign, right? And then you can elaborate on, you can take out and you can write your own story on, and give it all the background and all the detail to it. But like, it's kind of forging your narrative for you in a
And
way.
here's what I like. Neil's in charge of this, so I have a feeling we're gonna try to have these days in Ohio and Pennsylvania on the same day. So
I
it's
would love
it's
it to be on
it's
the
it's
same day.
Saturday, the third Saturday of every month, whatever it is.
Mhm.
You guys are doing yours, we're doing ours, whether we're together or separate. And something happens kind of crazy on my end. I pull up the phone, call Neil, put on speaker. Hey Neil, this just happened. But they kind of want to do this. Can we do that? Because it sounds like a cool thing to do in a story. Two things are going to happen. One, Neil's either going to drunkenly go, yeah, that sounds cool. Let's figure it out. Or he's going to very soberly say, yeah, that sounds cool. Let's figure it out.
Well, I'll have a discussion with Alex, who'll be your team lead over there in
Oh,
Pennsylvania.
exactly. Which is why I'm going to be the nuisance. I'm not in charge. Therefore, I'm the problem now.
I love it.
Everybody
Yeah.
has to deal with me.
Yeah. So, when we start talking about, you guys listening to us, we're talking about, like vassalization and all this kind of different stuff, right? So this is what a map campaign allows you to do, is to get as in depth with the rules as you want.
Right.
Our hexes that we're using, we have different types of hexes. So we've got basic hexes. We call them basic, developed, and fortified, right? So
Mm-hmm.
three different levels of hexes. There will also be some neutral hexes. So
Mm-hmm.
hexes that nobody controls at the start of the game. You can buy hexes that are neutral, so you can purchase them. And so
You
the
don't
current, so you have to
you don't just get a hex
figure out.
because you're next to it. You have to develop it.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
you'll
not just
develop some
freebies.
of the hexes. Yeah, some of them will be pre-developed, and some of them will be your capital cities and your fortifications, things like that. And that'll
Right.
be represented on the hex tiles. If it's a fortification, there'll be a castle on the hex tile.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's
makes
not going to
sense.
be like, I don't want you to have to use your pretend brain when you're looking at this map. I want you to see it, and I want you to know that it's there. So the other thing, so if you're talking about that kind of stuff, then you have to decide, okay, what kind of currency are we using? What kind of currency? Because there needs to be a currency system,
Mm-hmm.
right? How do I buy a hex? How
Yeah.
do should it cost me something to attack somebody, right? So what we're using inside of the map campaign is kind of, you can kind of think of it as almost like if you're playing Skyrim, right? Skyrim has a game engine. It has something underneath that kind of runs the whole shebang. So
Right.
our game engine is Path to Glory.
Right. Makes
If you
sense. It's
haven't
it's there.
looked,
It's well written.
yeah, if you haven't looked at Path to Glory rules in a long time, open up your core book and give it a glance. And there's a lot. There's more rules there than
Grab a battle
you would
tome
think.
and go right to the middle. You'll find it.
So don't do it in your battle tome. Read the core rules first
True.
and then
Yeah,
look at your battle
that's
tome.
true. Yeah.
Because you will not have a clue what's going on if you just look in your battle tome, which is unfortunate. Um, but anyway, so you can cherry pick is what we have done. We kind of cherry pick the rules that are going to kind of work with the campaign system the way we envision it. But you don't have to do all this from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that can kind of help you as far as that goes. We've chosen to use Path to Glory. We've chosen to use the glory points and the renown system to kind of build up heroes. We're also going to have our own system of like a narrative hero. So it's basically you in the realms, or however you want to picture it.
Right.
And Matt Hayward, Big M, is creating a system for us that is almost like the Anvil of Apotheosis. If you remember, was that a White Dwarf where that came out?
They actually put that in
That was a
GHB
that was the
2019.
GHB.
Yeah, GHB
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
2019.
yeah, yeah. So it's going to be a system where you're building up your narrative hero
Mm-hmm.
off of a basic stat line for his race,
Right.
and then you go and you build up from there, so that you don't get some like uber powerful character based on a
Right.
war scroll. That way, I've learned from bars that if you just use a war scroll, people will figure
It's
out
a little crazy.
real
Yeah.
quickly how to break that
Yeah.
within seconds.
Yep. Yep.
The minds out there, the beautiful minds out there will break it. Somebody will break this too, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's something to work on. So work off of. So now you're forging a narrative with a hero. You're forging a narrative with an empire. And you've got something invested. So these heroes can die.
Yep.
And so you can
And if you
create
lose
a
that
new
hero, we're gonna take your hero out back and smash it with a hammer.
That's right. That's right. Or we could find a very nice place on a shelf, and we'll call it the Hall of Heroes. And these are the heroes that have not made it,
Actually,
and have died in the
we
Path to Glory system.
yeah we should make something that like if you lose a hero, you have to like maybe like change like some like not change but like repaint some part of the hero so it's technically different.
Right.
Like oh his sleeve's now blue or whatever, and in
Yeah.
regards to his fallen friend or brother or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I hope people get real inventive with it. Hero death should be rare. It will be rare.
Yeah,
Even if
yeah.
the hero
Per Path to
dies,
Glory, it's very rare.
it's yeah. You're gonna have to be fairly unfortunate. So it'll happen to Matt for sure.
No, for sure,
But
absolutely.
probably multiple times. But yeah. So hero creation.
Well, I also like too, like even the added layers. So like you've been working on these rules and like sharing it with us and like asking for feedback. And I remember I read through your first draft, and I was looking through it, and like my mind, like the first read through, you're not gonna like really figure stuff out. You're just reading through it, kind of just generally absorbing it. But I got stopped at a certain point because it says for this campaign we'll be fighting in Gairan. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, what is that? Next sentence. It was something completely else. I just took a little screenshot, sent it to Neil. I said, why the fuck do I care? And he's like, well, what? I'm like if I'm in Gairan, I want to feel like I'm in Gairan. Like, yeah. I kind of internet bullied you. Yeah. Now we have rules for the realm of
Oh yeah,
life, which is fun though. Like,
yeah.
and you did it in a way I didn't even think of. Like
Mhm.
me, I've been like, okay, here's the realms for life, +1 to heal and stuff here, or like extra
Mhm.
saves on if you're near a tree or something, and you're just like, no, there's seasons, and we're dealing with real life a year now, so every 3 months, new season, new buff or negative. I was like, oh wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And that was taken off of another thing you had mentioned to me, which was old coalescence. And for those neckbeards who have been in AOS long enough to know what that is, it was a narrative system where every once in a while there would be. I'm sorry, not coalescence. This was the original like Seeds of Life campaign.
You mean the Seeds of Hope?
Seeds of Hope. That's what it was.
Yes. Yep.
And so
It was,
during that campaign,
yeah, it
it
was
would be
actually
like
the original Season of War. Season of War,
that's
Seeds of
right.
Hope.
Yep. So they would every so often say, okay, like chaos is ascendant and your chaos lord gets XY, right? So, and, then you mentioned realm of life, right? So
Yeah.
season buffs. And so it's long enough. You get a 3 month period
Oh,
where you get a buff that's long enough to feel like you've had that buff for a little while.
yeah, and it goes away.
But for some people, like let's say you're playing Sons of Bahamut, there is I want to say it's summer, which I called the Wild Hunt,
Hmm.
and so all battle line units get +1 rend against monsters.
See,
So so
he,
Carl was a little sad faced about that.
here's where I would take it to a step further. Now, this is where I go. So let's look at winter. I think winter is your -1 on all healing.
Mhm.
I assume to a minimum of one, something like that.
Oh no, it's 2-0.
Oh, 2-0, even better.
2-0.
All
Yep.
right.
Mhm.
So seasons aren't just the same every month. So a couple months time, we're gonna be entering winter.
Mhm.
First couple months are kind of cold, or first month's kind of cold, right? So you're
Mhm.
-1 to your healing. The second month is bitter, so you're
Yeah.
-2 to your healing. Then you start coming out of it, so you go back to -1. I think you should do
Right.
that. Like first month and third month is light, and that middle month, every single time, it's a huge bonus. Whatever, just tick it up one more. -1 to heal
Yeah.
in winter, +1 to heal in
I,
spring, +2 to your like just crazy. Like go. I think you should do that because like that feels like a
you
season
can
then. Because then like like
praise as you like to get. The what you have to
that's what I
keep in
want.
mind when you're
No,
writing
no,
these millions of rules
no,
is that
no.
somebody's got to be able to digest them all and
You
remember them all,
no.
or
You
because if
do.
they don't get
Hey,
played, they don't matter.
hey. You
So
do what you want. You live, sir. You do what you want.
we'll see, we'll see, because there's going to be yet more rules coming. So the other thing I did, we've built up our own siege rules.
Yep.
So don't haven't played them out yet. It just kind of
Well, I
I
mean,
took it out of my brain and put it on paper, and we'll see how it works.
we'll find something broken. We'll fix it as we go. That's all we're gonna do.
Yep, yep.
But
Matt's
at
like,
least there's a
we need to
start.
play test this. I'm like, eh.
So
Yeah,
I
we'll play test it the first time somebody does it, and then we'll
yeah.
fix it.
So God bless Matt.
Oh,
I wrote the Terathi pack. Okay. I just finished the version 2. I just sent out to all the invitees. Um,
mm.
the first one he sent me like a feedback thing on it, and I was just like, spelling error, spelling error, spelling error. Let me fix that. Kind of like read sort of like he's like giving me suggestions on. I didn't like no fuck that no I don't care but I'm like but at least it made me go there's artifact to make me a wizard, there's no artifact to make me a priest. Since I'm doing
Mhm.
priest focused on my battle pack,
Yeah.
I'll add that in. There we go, there's your bonus. But also it's
Everybody,
just like it's like I love you, Matt, but
yeah.
stay out of my shit.
That's a. I know he gets a little butthurt by that, but everybody needs their Matt, right?
Oh,
Everybody
everybody
needs
needs their
somebody
Matt,
who
yeah.
honestly reads their rules, and Matt does that
Yes.
for me when nobody else does, and he
Yes.
will give me feedback. I don't always take it, and he always reminds me when I've messed something up pretty good
Yeah,
that
that's true.
that he had a fix for that. But
Matt can't roll dice to save his life, but he can make sure it's a fair and balanced game for people who can roll dice appropriately.
yes,
There's
yes.
no doubt about that.
Yeah, so this is a narrative map campaign. I
Yes.
don't have any qualms, and I usually never do if you listen to my stuff about what's fair. I don't care. Mostly I don't care.
Suck it up, Buttercup. This isn't your
yeah.
modern woke Warhammer, all right?
Mhm.
With Warhammer with scoring or whatever. I'm not sure how to
Yeah.
phrase that. This is boomer territory. You win,
You're right.
you lose, no
Yeah.
crying. Suck it up.
Yeah. That's right.
I don't. I
So
could
we're
have planned
giving
that
out.
rant better, but oh well.
There's gonna be there's gonna be like games that are skewed. So
Yeah,
if you're Ideneth and you're defending a coastal territory, well, guess what? You get an extra 100 points in your army. The other guy doesn't
yep,
get. It should be harder. It should be harder for you to take that coastal section from them, right?
yep,
If you're Sylvaneth and you're in the woods, it should be harder for you to kill it. Like narratively, this should be hard,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You
You don't
know,
like, okay. There's Sylvaneth in those woods. I don't want to go in there.
right?
I
So,
absolutely
right.
do not want to
You
go
should
in there
feel that. You should feel
unless
that in the game, in the
unless there's a
rules, right?
bigger threat outside of those woods. I don't want to go in there.
Right.
That,
There's a volcano and a fire slayer lodge right there, right next to it. Maybe I shouldn't go over there, right? That
yeah,
might be a little bit harder. Or maybe I'm chaos and I can't wait to take this on, right? But they're going to be, well defended. The other thing is, like I've given, if you're defending your own capital. So one of the ways we've decided to try and keep people in this is if you're defending your own capital, you get, I think it's up to a max of 200 extra points while you're defending
yeah,
your capital.
makes
So
sense.
now I know players, good players,
You
right?
sh- you should
That
do
if I got an extra 200 points, it wouldn't matter.
here,
Okay.
suggestion,
So,
suggestion, suggestion. This is
uh,
on top of my head, just pulling this off the cuff. You're defending your capital. I would say you give the person defending two choices. One, uh, summon all able bodies, which is the extra 250 points, or
mhm.
empty the vaults. Every single hero you bring gets an extra unique enhancement, whether it's an artifact, command point, or command trait, whatever.
Oh, buddy, that's already in Path to Glory rules. Your heroes
Oh,
can
am I?
have
Okay, there we go.
extra everything,
Well,
right?
I mean, it's
Um,
just
yeah.
yeah, whatever you need to defend your territory. Like,
Oh yeah. That's already going to be happening.
okay, all
So,
right, there we go. We're good. We're
uh-huh.
good. I'm back.
Yep. So yeah, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be a lot of fun. What haven't I touched on yet? Bu- 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 yeah. Oh, so the last thing is deciding what type of when you're actually fighting a battle,
Hmm.
what type of battles are you going to fight?
Right.
Right? Are you going to do pitched battles from the General's Handbook? That's fine. That's the way you can do it. Are you going to do if you remember the old open play cards?
Hmm.
If you got open play cards, just draw up random scenarios. You can do that.
So
That's an option too.
here's another suggestion that you could do, and this would be something I would suggest you pull somebody else in for this potentially. Maybe someone like a mind like Matt or
Yeah.
me, who or both of us to go crazy and he can keep it in line. Um, with that season of war, they released because it was weekly for so many weeks. So each week there was a buff, and each week there was a new scenario. So
Yeah.
maybe every month we choose different scenario where we all play this scenario for the first game at least. If you're playing
My
multiple, I'm just but like if we can make stuff up as we go or pull from older books or something, just a suggestion.
Yeah. My preference there is to not lock people into one one scenario because number one, I don't care if that starts to feel like okay, we're trying to make it kind of fair across the board. I'm not worried about
Oh, do
that.
you want to read those
Um,
scenarios? They are not
well,
fair.
yeah, no, I know, but
I
like
almost
we're
put
all
them into
playing the
Wrathy.
same
They are
game.
not fair. They're very
So
unfair.
I also want it to feel like if I'm on this side of the world, right, and I'm attacking into this hex, the battle shouldn't be the same as what's going on somewhere else.
Oh, that's fair.
Right? It should be a little bit different,
That's
right?
fair. That's fair.
As far as the way I think about it. So I want the players, the way I've kind of organized it is you guys get together and you guys choose what are you going to do? You could think about this. You've got the whole month to play the game. You could play it on like the game's day, which is what it's designed for.
Right.
Or if you can't make it, then you got the whole month to play it. So you guys can think about what you want to do, what you want to play, um, and kind of go for there. If there's a scenario that kind of makes sense for what you're doing, right? If I'm attacking into Korn's territory, there's or maybe Zinch's territory, there's an old scenario called the Ritual, where you've got a certain
I
amount of time. You remember the Ritual?
I looked at that tonight because I was putting it in. almost put it into the Tirathi pack. I almost
It's
did.
in one of the old books. Yeah, the
Yeah, it's in
ritual
the
is the
Realm Game
ball.
Wars.
I love
Yeah,
ritual.
I almost
So
put it in.
what maybe I'll
Actually,
do,
did I put
Chuck,
it?
is
Did I put
what
it in?
maybe I'll do is we'll do some
Let me,
suggested scenarios.
let me make sure I did. I
For
might have put that in. Hold on. What do I got here? That's yeah, rituals in Terathi.
I love it. Yes,
I was like, wait, no,
yes,
no. I think because
so
it's
good.
perfect. It's the long. It's what. Yeah, the ritual's there. Sorry,
Love Yep, I love that one. That's so good. So random,
it
so
is.
random,
It
but
is.
I just love it to death. So,
Can I? Can I?
um,
Can I? I want to throw something out, and I'll even willing to write this. It's winter. What happens in winter? It snows.
sure.
What happens in spring? It rains.
Mhm.
What happens in summer? Windstorms, let's say. What happens in
Yeah,
fall? Um, pumpkin
more rain,
spice. More rain. Okay, more rain. All right.
more rain.
Um, I would like to make a little chart, optional, completely optional, where
Mhm.
before the game begins, after you deployed, you roll a dice, like a D3, on a 1 to 2, like whatever it is. Um, see what the weather is. Is it clear? Is it maybe foggy? Based
Yeah,
upon the season. Like, it's summer. Is it clear? Is it foggy? Is it like a thunder windstorm?
right.
So winter, like just like that sort of stuff, and just like have like a bonus, like, oh, it's foggy, minus you can't shoot outside of like just something like after you deploy is when you realize what's going on.
Right. I love that. I've also
I mean,
one
leave it
thing
as
that I've done.
optional because maybe some people don't
Yeah.
want to do that, but if they don't, they can fuck
Um,
themselves.
sure, sure. Well, I mean, I have something that's very, very much like that already. And so depending on what type of terrain is on the hex,
Hmm.
if you're attacking into that or if you're defending it, then you have to deal with that terrain. So if you're in a
Yeah,
marsh or a bog or a swamp, right? How effective do you think cavalry will be there? Probably not pretty good, right? I mean, they're
I
mud, muck,
having just read
water.
Reign of the Brute, yeah, in the Gyran side, they're like, yeah, we don't have a bunch of cannons or cavalry because it does not work.
Right. Yeah, doesn't work, right? So actually, so the rule I have there is if your cavalry is max 6-inch move on a base move, right? So they got to slow way down. You can still like I don't want to take something away from somebody,
Right.
but you got a negative there. There's another rule for if you're in a forest. I can't remember what exactly I did, but there might be like a reduction of 1 inch for your movement based on the trees coming alive, trying to trip people up on the battlefield, stuff like that. Sylvaneth and Beastmen, they
Hmm.
ignore it completely,
Fair.
right?
Yeah.
So again, we're trying to build a narrative here with the rules, with the terrain
Well,
where you're on.
but see, that leads me to
So
even more question things like it's like okay, so say it's winter and it's snowing. All right, well, what race is the one that would be like, we don't care, dwarves, and
dwarfs
probably and
are
probably and probably ogres.
beast claw raiders. Yep.
Yeah, they'll just be like, hey, if you roll heavy snow, everyone's -1 move on top of everything else except for these two armies.
Right.
I'm saying
Yep.
I'll write it. I might go nuts on it. That'd be fun.
I love it. Yeah, we may have to do that too. I like the idea of
Inclement
weather.
weather. I mean,
Yep.
heck, whenever you're playing Madden back in the day, you set it to the worst storm possible just to watch the shit happen, make it funny.
Right. Right. So yeah, I mean, as you guys can see, so as we've been kind of talking through this, right? That's I wanted to start with just how basic you could be with this,
Yeah,
but
you can go deep.
the yeah, you can go so deep, and that's really this is how I always wanted to play Warhammer. This is Warhammer to me.
Now,
Well, like your match
yeah,
play tournaments and everything, I have a fun time with that. But this is how I want to play
yeah.
Warhammer anytime I sit down to a table.
Let me
It
ask
just is.
let me ask you this: do you need and have you chosen any sort of win condition? Like we're doing this for a
For
year. We have a
the
start. We have a stop. What
right,
what if any is a win condition, or is that a personal preference for person to person?
right off the bat, the most basic way to win a map campaign is
Hold more
Chuck.
territory.
You got it.
Yep.
Okay, so that's going to be a win condition is going to be one of the ways to win is have the most. So there's going to be an award at the end of the season. Who's got the most hexes, right? So you control the most hexes. We also have hexes that are. I'm gonna grab them right now.
I'm just spitballing too. You could even, instead of like best of Grand Alliance, you could have person who controls the most forest, most mountains, most plains, most water.
Absolutely. So here's. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is 3 hexes in one.
Ooh,
And
okay.
there's like a dead like bone dragon on there,
Yep.
and there's also another one. This is a giant volcano. These are called mega hexes. So mega hexes, if you control one of these bad boys, um, or both, that's also a win condition. Being able to control one of these mega hexes,
Okay.
right? Now, I haven't decided. It may go to like a certain race. Like if you control it, it's this or whatever. Obviously, if this is a giant volcano, there's going to be a race that wants to be around volcanoes more than another. I might not even have that race being played on the map.
Right.
I don't know. So, but maybe the rule will be there. Big dead bone dragon. Maybe for death, you might want that, right? Uh,
Or iron jaws because they like collecting bones with the bone splittings
yep,
or something.
that was the other one. In fact, I was playing around with designing the map right
Or
there, and I got
yep, yep,
jaws right next to it.
yep. Nice.
So,
Uh,
so there's going to be things like that. There's going to be your hero. How much did you level your hero? Did your hero take any injuries? The guy who got injured the most, right? That's an award,
yep.
right? For the most battle scarred hero, right? Who didn't die but got injured the most, right? That's gonna.
Scarred veteran. Yep. Here,
Yep.
here's
So
here's what here's what I'm
right.
hoping too, Neil. Just this is an aside. This isn't what everyone needs to do. I hope your trophies are just hexes. Like just gold, silver, bronze, like just different colored
Right.
hexes. Like here's your trophy. It's this.
I love it. Yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll figure something out. Who knows? Maybe I can even convince Chuck to make a couple hammers. So I know he's got some.
You mean Carl?
I said Chuck.
You said Chuck, yeah.
Carl. Yes,
I
Carl.
wish I wish I could make hammers with 3D printer, but I don't
Yeah.
have that. So
So he actually has some trophies he was planning on making for bars. So we may pass some of those bad boys out actually.
that's fair.
So
That's fair.
we'll print them off. So it
No,
should be cool.
I look forward to it. And I think this has been a very fun discussion about like just what a map campaign can be. And keep in mind, everybody, if you're newer to this or you don't have a 3D printer, whatever, you can get a piece of paper. You can get a notebook. You can get graph paper. You can get a giant sheet, and you can just draw it out, and it's still gonna be just as cool. You can cut
There are
them out.
hex
Yeah.
there are hex programs that you can get, and you
Yeah.
can actually print a map out.
Yeah, you
So
can do this digitally. You can do it however you want. Like, don't feel like you have to 3D print. Like, we want the physical because of where we're at, but there's so many ways to do this and have fun with it with your gaming group. And it doesn't have to be massive. Like I said, it can be as simple or as in depth as you want because at least you can see we're on the in depth side, but there's no reason why you can't have a simple one start out, even if it's just you and like 2 other buddies.
right. And just be realistic with it. Be realistic with people's time. Um, put in fail safes, right? That's why we have the whole month to play the game. I understand that life happens. We're adults that are going to be playing this game. Adults have lives. Adults have commitments
Mm-hmm.
outside of pushing their toys around. So build in fail safes so that people can keep playing with it, and also build in rules that if somebody couldn't play the game but they got attacked, you got to build it. Hey, guess what? Your army wasn't there in that hex. They'd
Yep.
marched off somewhere else. Maybe you lost that hex because you couldn't play. It depends on how you want to handle it, but think about all those things too.
Yep. There's plenty to think about, and I'm sure come January when we start playing this after the first one, we'll be talking much more about it, and you'll hear
Mhm.
constant updates. Maybe even to the point of we can get pictures
Oh
of
yeah,
the map and like kind of like highlight, see like okay, we can give you updates here regularly on the show once this kicks off here in January.
we'll give you maybe a once a month update or something like that every turn.
Yeah, actually, right before we kick it off, what we'll do is because you'll have finalized, we'll go through your entire pack for
Whew, you guys are going to be in for a deep one.
it. We'll probably get mad on for that one too, just be like carry
Yeah,
us.
you can tell us how stupid everything is. I
Yes,
love you, Matt. Thank you for reading my rules.
yes, because I won't. Oh no, okay, I read it. Yeah. But look forward to starting this out. Looking forward to figuring out my army for it. Um, Neil, I'll let you close it out. Episode
All right.
71. How do you want to do it?
Have fun.
Stay Stormcast strong, everybody. Happy hobbying.